The subject of today's episode is a prison that is constantly and consistently ranked on the list of the world's most brutal. And it's probably for the exact opposite of what you might think. Set on an island, in a lake, in a forest, in Russia, this soul-destroying penitentiary imprisons only the worst of the worst. Murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and even terrorists. And once you enter its concrete walls of despair, there's only one way to really leave. Ironically enough, this now House of Corrections, where so many live in misery and hopelessness, all started off as a house of worship. Known to many as the Russian Alcatraz, it's called by the prisoners themselves simply /5. Today we cover Pyatak Prison. I'm Kevin Young.
And I'm Michael Schofield, apparently, because we're going to be doing some prison breaking shit, I'm assuming.
And this is Torture. We'll get to the what you would have to go through for a prison break here in a little bit.
So Michael Schofield is out the window. No tattoo, elaborate tattoo that you managed to shoehorn an image of a blueprint into will save you this time, Michael.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we haven't talked in a while. How was your Halloween?
Very quiet, thankfully.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I like a good quiet Halloween sometimes. I prefer to be out. Like we're talking about going out next year. But not many kids came knocking, so that's not a bad thing. And I have my ring light sticking up in my face. See, but yeah, it was good though. You know, it was very uncharacteristically quiet for us, and I think that's just because of everything. You know, how was yours?
It was pretty good. I don't know if you saw the picture my wife posted of me dressed as a sloth.
No, I didn't.
No, yeah. It was like last minute. I had a costume planned out, and I went last minute to get the shit, and I didn't have anything, and so I just bought one of those furry onesie outfits that you can get, and it was a sloth. So I was like, fuck it, I'm a sloth. So
nice.
We like to take, or I like to, and she, I guess, just tags along. I like to take a little table and put out in like the middle of the yard and decorate lights up to it, and then put the candy up there, and maybe put my computer or something up there and watch scary movies while we hand out stuff
That's
to
pretty
kids.
cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So the first night, Halloween Eve, because we do 2 nights. I don't know if you guys do 1 or 2 nights. We do 2 nights of Halloween over here. We do Halloween Eve and Halloween. Halloween Eve, we handed out quite a bit of candy. My youngest son showed up with his little sister, my ex-wife's daughter, and they were cute. He was Patrick from SpongeBob, but all he had was just the shorts and a pink shirt and a Hawaiian shirt over the top of it. And that was his Patrick. It's like, all right, whatever. Then the second night came, and we had a shit ton of candy left over for the next night. And I knew that after that night, we would still have a shit ton of candy left over, which I don't really need, but it was nice. It would have been nice to have here.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to set everything up, and one of my stepkids comes up and goes, "Can we hand out candy?" I was like, "This is our time. I did my shit with kids and trick-or-treating and all that stuff already with you guys. You're on your own. If you want to do something, go hang out with whatever. This is me and mom time." And he is the child that if he pouts and throws a fit, he gets his way because my wife caves, because for some reason he has this way of making her feel bad. The other ones can't. The other ones could say and do whatever they want, and she'd be like, "Yeah, whatever." But if he goes, she all of a sudden gets all whiny.
Women.
So he was pulling his shit, and I said, "You know what? It was getting super windy outside." I was like, you could tell she did not want to do it. She was just going to do it because I wanted to. I was like, you know what? Fine. Fuck it. You and your brother. At first I said, go ask Grandma and Grandpa. So go next door, ask Grandma and Grandpa. And he comes back, they said no. And my wife's like, but what did they said no. It's like, Jesus, this kid's 16, by the way, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Fine. You two could sit out there, but you are not leaving. You are going to sit here and you're going to hand out the candy. You're not going to eat all the candy. You're going to hand out the fucking candy. I'm like, yeah, that's what we want to do. I was like, all right, fine. We didn't quit handing out candy till 8:30 the night before, so you will stay out there for as long as we did. Okay, that's fine. So we just sat inside and watched Scary Movie. We watched that, which one did? Well, that When It Lurks, I think, was what we watched.
Oh,
or
right.
no, we
Dying to see
Terrified.
That.
Terrified
All
was
right.
the one we watched. That was the other one. And that movie is fucked up. Anyway.
Shut the fuck up, sorry. Kevin's telling me a story.
They kept texting her and calling her because there was a cat out on our porch. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Leave us alone. You wanted to hand out candy. We're watching a movie. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Speaking of cats.
Fine, go back to your movie. It's about 7:30. They come inside. We're done. No, you're not. We want to go with our friends. No, you go out there.
You asked for this responsibility.
Natalia's going to do it. Their little sister. She's going to do it. It's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Fuck, go away. So she comes in at like 8. I was like, what are you doing? I'm done. And she has both things of candy completely empty. It's like, what happened to all the candy? Because I know you had more than that. She goes, oh, one of my friends came up and I told him I didn't want to do this anymore. So he took the buckets and dumped them into his bag and took off. I was like, you bitch. God damn it. I told my wife, I was like, your kids are never...
the CEO of a Fortune 100 company in years to come.
I was like, your kids are never doing anything again. Fuck this shit. Ruined my Halloween. God damn it.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind going out for Halloween next year.
Yeah, this thing, like, we were supposed to get married around Halloween originally, and we're going to have a fancy dress, wedding and all that. But yeah, like, we're both big Halloween fans. So yeah we'll do something next time. But yeah, we watched, went to cinema actually there during the night because we didn't watch. What did we watch? Oh, we were watching. It was because we were watching Supernatural. I think I might have said it to you. It was just ironically enough, we ended up on the Halloween episode on Halloween, which was kind of funny. But what you call it? Yeah, we went to see Five Nights at Freddy's the other day.
Oh yeah, did you like it?
It was okay. Yeah, like
my kids loved it.
It was harmless. Yeah, like it had enough of a couple of jumps in it to kind of keep me interested. But like like Alison, I think she certainly hangs around with me far too often because I tend to cop on to what's happening and the twists well before anything ever happens. And she's starting to see the patterns now as well. So she copped on really early. She's like, "This is what's happening," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, my kids love it. Yeah, it seems like it's one of those movies like, okay, I'm not going to sit down and expect some like masterpiece. This is just going to be something, sit down, watch it, have a little bit of fun,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a popcorn movie. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah. And it's not kind of like Goosebumps type thing. That's what I was expecting going in. Like, and I was like, right, this is like horror for teens kind of thing, like, and you're like, right. Goosebumps, and then there was what was the other one? There was a book series that was kind of
Fear Street.
No, I'll probably have to.
So that was pretty.
Look it up, but anyway, it was kind of horror for teens. If you get me, so it was kind of fairly on the light side, like introductory horror.
I heard there was a good amount of gore in it for what it was.
Oh, there is, yeah. For what it is, it's a decent bit, like just I'm not going to say anything. There's one scene in it that was very unexpectedly gory, but it's so much so that it was actually funny. And I was like, we were sitting there, and there's a guy. There was only like 6 of us in the entire theater, like, and there was a guy sitting over the other seats. Like obviously like, the other side of the aisle from us. And I was sitting at the edge, and both myself and him guffawed at the same time. We both just started laughing, and like even Alison was like, "Oh my god!" Ah. But it was just really funny. Like the he didn't expect it at all, like what happened. So and it was just really funny. It was kind of shocking and funny at the same time.
Yeah,
but, yeah, it was good. That was worth it. Worth watching.
Good. I plan on watching it at some point. It's just not one of those. It's like top of the list, but it's on. We have Peacock, and it's on Peacock. So, my youngest son and my daughter went and saw it at the movie theater. They were supposed to meet up with friends, and he dressed up. He made himself a little bow tie and a little hat.
Nice.
He's a gigantic Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I made him Five Nights at Freddy cakes for his birthday and all that shit. So he's huge into it. And then my stepsons watched it with my wife here at home. They wanted to see it, but they didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
So they just watched it at home. I was like, that's fine. Whatever. I'm going to bed. Because I worked all night, so I'm going to bed. You guys do whatever the fuck you want. And that's what they did. So
cool.
Good. Now, if you get a chance to watch that When Evil Lurks and Terrified, they're made by the same guy. Oh,
Excuse
man.
me.
All right, fine. That Terrified, it's hard. When Evil Lurks is has a lot more gore in it. Has a lot more like, oh my God, what is happening right now in it. But a lot of stupid decisions are made, which kind of make you not feel so bad for people. But Terrified has some. It's just weird shit, man. They're hard to explain without just giving everything away. You got to find a way to watch them. I said I had that did the free week of AMC Plus and watched both of them with my wife, and I said
we don't
she
get
sat
that
up.
Here, sadly.
Oh, you can't?
No.
I tried downloading it to send it to you, and it wouldn't let me.
It's all good.
You'll find eventually you'll be able to see it somewhere, I'm sure. But fucking hell, those movies are goddamn. Well, I hope all of you out there had a happy and safe Halloween, and your kids didn't give all your fucking candy away to some random kid. I guess let's.
Funny though. I still think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm sure everybody does, except me, because I'm the one who's out all that candy. That is my trick-or-treating, is whatever candy's left that I bought that hasn't been handed out goes to me.
Yeah, we had a fair amount of it left to eat ourselves, so.
Yeah. Again, not that I need it, but I don't always, eat the things I'm supposed to.
Yeah, apologize in advance as well. It's bad sinus season for me.
Oh, yeah?
At the moment, so I have a constant...
What's it like up there right now?
It's just a constant shift back and forth with the weather. Like, it always gets me. I have a constant thing going on up here and everything. Like, I have the sprays going constantly. So
yeah, fuck. Here in the Midwest, right before Halloween, it was, down in the 30s and rainy and cold, and then right after, just this week, it popped up. It's 75 outside right now. So.
It doesn't know what it wants to do. That's the problem here too.
Midwest is the fucking worst with that shit. Yeah. We really are.
Yeah, I had my sunglasses driving in this morning, and it rained so heavily I had to take them off halfway into work, and I had to run from the car to get into the office. It was raining that heavily then, and it was just overcast for half the rest of the day, and I didn't know if you were hot, if you were cold. It just kept fucking changing. Like, it was horrible.
Well, let's get to a place where it doesn't really change weather all that much. It's just pretty much cold for the majority of the year.
Dublin.
Dan, let's take you back to 1989 in the Smolsnik region of Russia. You are a 29-year-old man by the name of Vladislav Shawshankski, and you are a rising star in the legal arena, a prosecutor that had investigated large-scale corruption in Uzbekistan. One day, for seemingly no reason other than what you would eventually call boredom, you decide to spice things up a little bit. You grab a knife, head into town, and murder a bookkeeper and a cashier. You know, how you're just bored one day. He's like, I should murder someone.
Who are you, comrade question?
Moose and squirrel. I killed him with knife. You are subsequently arrested and convicted to death. To wait out this punishment, you are sent to Ognjeni Ostrov, or Fire Island.
Nice.
Yeah, an ironic name since Ognjeni Ostrov sits about 300 miles north of Moscow, almost halfway between Moscow and the Arctic Circle. This island sits in the middle of a perpetually frozen lake, Novozero, in the middle of the perpetually frozen forest in the Berozursky district in Vologda Oblast, Russia.
That means
on this island,
molten lava, fire land.
Yes.
It's also an ironic nickname.
And on this island, in this lake, in this forest, sits prison number OE256/5, or as the inmates call it, Pyatak, which is /5 in Russian. They just call it /5, but Pyatak. So, whatever. And what awaits you isn't the standard bullyings or rapes or beatings from guards. No gang wars or drug abuses or murders for not paying up contraband. No, the pain of Pyatak is actually the exact opposite of all that action and excitement. It's the soul-crushing isolation. The eventual realization that life will, from that point forward, have zero meaning. Now, after a few years in what will become known as the Russian Alcatraz in May of 1996, the day you are to be executed by gunshot to the back of the head, a prison official comes to the execution cell and tells you your life will be spared because of Boris Yeltsin's moratorium on the death sentence. I wish that I wish. I am not a fan of the death penalty, but if we were going to do it, I'd rather it be gunshot to the back of the head than the way we do it now, lethal injection, because it's not as clean, obviously, but it's quicker, and it's painless.
Well, I assume it is.
You would think.
Nobody's ever survived to let us know if it hurt them or not. So.
Yeah, I've never been shot in the back of the head, so I wouldn't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's not.
It's like, well, he didn't complain much. It obviously didn't hurt. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. And part of me thinks that there are certain things that when people do it, I believe they more like really kind of give up their own rights for anything, like when it comes to murder, sexual assault.
Sure.
If you are taking away somebody else's kind of, thanks, sorry, then yours realistically in some way should be forfeit. But how you go about that is another story. Suddy.
Yeah, and then there's always the question of, what if they're not guilty?
Yeah.
What if, because, you listen to enough true crime podcasts or watch enough Dateline of people getting railroaded into prison for something they obviously did not do just because the jurors, were enamored with a really charismatic prosecutor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so, yeah, I noticed that side of it too, but I guess that's probably why they take so long to actually carry it out, but
you got to go through all your appeals. You got to go through the process, and then I think it's just more punishment before ultimate death. But I don't know.
Look,
I'm not.
I won't be unlucky enough to experience it. So, well, you never know. All the same, there was what movie was it we were watching, and the person said, every person is capable of murder. You just haven't met the right person yet, or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's fucking true.
Well, I don't. I hope I don't want to go to prison and get put on death row if my stepkids give away any of my fucking candy. It might happen. Now, before we get into what exactly makes Pyatak so horrible, let's talk about how this prison came to be. Because if this show is anything, it's a history podcast. And for that, we have to go all the way back to 1517, where it was less a place of isolation and punishment and more a place of prayer and worship. A local Orthodox cleric named Cyril of Novozero, which would later be changed to Saint Cyril, claimed to witness a column of fire descending onto the island from the heavens. Cyril saw this vision as a sign and decided to fund a monastery on the island, and over the next 4 centuries it sat in relative peace, mostly because of its secluded location. I think maybe him and that one guy that saw the cross in front of the deer's antlers, and that was thrown in the brazen bull. I think they have. I think they were smoking the same stuff, eating the same shrooms. Do you see the cross in the middle of that deer's forehead? No, but do you see that column of fire?
He was just completely stoned. He lit his lighter, you see, is what it was, to light his next doobie. He saw the flame go up. He's like, whoa!
It's like Otto from The Simpsons. Yeah. They call them fingers, but I never see them thing. Oh, there they go. Oh. And then, in 1917, Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks launched the October Revolution. The militant atheism of the Bolsheviks would put them at odds with the Orthodox Church, and soon after, much of the church's wealth and possessions would be confiscated by the new government, including the monastery on Fire Island. The building would be converted to a prison to lock up the enemies of the revolution. And it would continue to be a political prison through the 30s and 40s, as Stalin used it as a penal colony for the victims of his purges of those that stood against his regime. Good old Stalin.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to believe he was on our side at the time. But anyway.
It was a very smart move, really. I think.
Which?
Fucking Stalin fucking siding with you guys and so, you know, it's politically it's a very smart move.
Yeah, he's sitting back. He's like, I like what the other ones are doing, but I think I'm going to go with these guys because they're probably going to win.
Yeah. And then make me look like a better guy.
Yeah. While I'm killing my own people. Millions and millions at a time. Now, after his death in 1953, Nikita Khrushchev's process of de-Stalinization led to the closing of many secure facilities dedicated to political dissidents. In the case of the island prison, this was simply converted to a standard penitentiary housing ordinary criminals, albeit the most violent and dangerous ones. Jump to the 90s, and the Soviet Union has collapsed, replaced by the Russian Federation and the Confederation of Independent States. Up until the mid-1990s, the death penalty was still a part of the Russian judiciary system. Capital executions were carried out by means of pistol shot to the back of the head. But on the 16th of May, 1996, a decree by President Boris Yeltsin ordered a gradual reduction of the death penalty in preparation for Russia's entry into Council of Europe. September 1996, authorities carried out the last capital sentence on Russian soil, even though the death penalty was still enforced in Chechnya until 1999. But, I think Chechnya is kind of asterisk to anything that you talk about when it's Russia. Oh, all this was illegal in Russia, except Chechnya. Chechnya is kind of the armpit. Kind of the armpit of the Soviet Union.
I'm pretty sure the entirety of the Soviet Union is the armpit of the Soviet
The armpit
Union.
of the Soviet Union.
Crazy.
Now,
bastard.
because of Yeltsin, 681 death row inmates now have their sentences commuted to life in prison. For those that sat in Pyatak, this may have been worse. So what makes this prison so god-awful? Well, first off, the prisoners, from the day they enter the prison, are placed 2 to a cell. No TV, no books. During the day, the beds are stowed away, and the inmates are forced to stand or to sit on a tiny wooden perch just a few inches wide.
Fuck's sake.
Now, this happens for about 22 and a half hours a day.
Yes.
Every day.
That just sounds...
The other hour and a half, they are spent in a 2 meter by 2 meter cage where they are allowed to pace for exercise.
Oh, yeah, that's nice of them.
Isn't
It just like...
Yeah. You can go 6 feet this way and 6 feet that way and then back again. And that's it. Only
Again,
the most...
people over here will understand it's like fucking going into a Ryanair toilet. What it's like. It's like trying to go for a poop in a Ryanair toilet. It's like... So thank you for saving all that space so I get cheaper flights.
Now, only the most determined manage to maintain any real level of fitness, contributing to the deteriorating health of most inmates. And probably because of the location and unbearable headache that it would be running indoor plumbing to an island in the middle of a frozen lake in the middle of a frozen forest, there are no lavatories or washrooms in the prison. The inmates are just given a metal bucket.
And then I'm assuming everything ends up frozen one way or another. So
He just shanked him with the frozen piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And since these are used by both cellmates and are rarely sanitized, AIDS and drug-resistant tuberculosis are endemic. Apparently, half of the residents of Pyatak prison have drug-resistant tuberculosis.
That sounds lovely.
Doesn't it? I went to Pyatak prison and all I got was this tuberculosis.
Yeah. Or AIDS.
Or AIDS. Why is it it's okay to laugh about tuberculosis but not AIDS?
No, well, it's been over 20 years.
I
So we can laugh about AIDS now.
I suppose.
And then we go
as
back and we watch Philadelphia and then we start crying. We won't laugh about
It's
AIDS.
not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Then you watch
More
South Park
topics.
with the Jared. Then you watch the Jared episode of South Park. Oh, AIDS
Yeah.
is funny in Philadelphia. AIDS isn't funny. Now, as declared by the U.S. State Department, the conditions at Pyatak prison are, quote, extremely harsh and frequently life-threatening. For the first 10 years of your sentence, you are only allowed 2 visits a year, and they are only allowed to visit for 2 hours maximum. After 10 years, the prisoners are allowed 2 additional visits a year, and they are able to receive packages from family and friends, but these are also limited to 2 a year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Send them a new bucket. My own
Send 'em a
personalized bucket.
Now, by the time the first decade had come and gone, most inmates will lose all contact with the outside world. Friends and family that would have traveled hundreds, if not thousands of miles through harsh terrain and desolate towns, only to be able to see their loved one for a couple of hours and then be turned away, would eventually see that the trip just wouldn't be worth the visit, especially since their loved one was probably losing their minds by then.
Yeah. I can only imagine
Aside-
considering I don't want to go see my family and they're only like 1 hour from here. true good
I live
condition.
next door to my parents. When I'm taking my dog out to piss or shit and I see my parents get out, I kind of hide behind the tree so they don't see me. Not that I don't like or love my parents. I do. It's just sometimes, it can be a little much.
Oh yeah, of course.
A Siberian multiple murderer, the Telegraph called Valery, whichever one you want to use, in 2004 said that when he found out he would be going to Pyatak, he said, quote, "When I came here, I told my wife to get a divorce. She cried a little, and we've never seen each other since."
Huh. We're going to apologize now if you can only hear purring. He's on my lap now, so I'm sorry.
"When I came here, I told my wife to get a divorce. She cried a little, and then we've never seen each other since." I almost got a little Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I was going to say, getting close to Austrian there.
She cried a little.
Down, we got a
Get
divorce.
to the chopper.
Who said you
never see my wife again? Take a bite of a bologna.
It's like, it's Arnie, and was it Red Dawn, or was that the name of the film he was in where he plays a Russian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's kind of like, get down, do it. What's wrong?
Now, if you break the rules, you are punished by being thrown into an even smaller, darker cell for a minimum of 15 days with only a metal bucket and a small wooden perch.
How we can have a smaller cell? How big is that cell? Like how small is it then? Like it's like standing on an iPhone or some shit.
Yeah, I mean it's more than likely just big enough for you to stand up in and maybe curl up in a ball on the floor.
And have your bucket and your perch as well. So
now, the overwhelming boredom and isolation can lead the inmates to do some drastic things just for a little human interaction and change in the routine. They will sometimes swallow metal objects like teapot handles, spoons, and even bundles of nails in hopes that they will be sent to the hospital. That's how you know you're desperate. Yeah. Now, where they get the bundle of nails from, I'm not quite sure, but I mean, Jesse Pomeroy was able to fucking make a bomb, and
that's true, yeah.
And so I mean, I'm sure they could find a nail here or there somewhere.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, maybe they're coming in those packages. You see, that's what it is. It's like a box of nails and a teapot, please, honey.
Send him the nails. Why does he need nails? Well, he said send him the nails. Your husband's in the hospital, ma'am. Why? He swallowed a bunch of nails.
Yeah. Pooping nails.
That's like the old TV shows, the old cartoons where people would send cakes with files inside.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of cupcakes, a nail in each
cupcake.
Just his favorite movie is Hellraiser. This is what we made. We made him cupcakes with spikes going out.
One of the problems with growing a beard is proper beard care. Going on a website or even to a brick and mortar store and seeing dozens of different options, whether it be oils, washes, balms, lotions, razors, butters, or just a massive amount of different companies all trying to sell you virtually the same product with a different logo. It can be difficult and overwhelming.
And even worse, see, I already fucked it up. And even worse so if you're trying to buy beard products for someone else. Well, thebeardstruggle.com has made that process infinitely easier with their beard kits and bundles.
Anything from a simple oil kit that gives you day tonic and night elixir,
to the complete beard care bundle that gives you the day and night oils, beard shampoo, beard conditioner, beard balm, and the Viking Sea Mineral Beard Mask.
The beard growth bundle that comes with the Voxter Growth Accelerator and the Derma Roller.
To Crocky Shave Kit that gives you everything you need to keep your beard short and trimmed up.
To the mother of all beard kits, the Apex Bundle 2.0. That comes with 15 different products, including the heated beard brush and straightener.
And if you're still just not sure what bundle to get, you can take their beard routine quiz, and the Beard Struggle will tell you what the best beard care routine and products are for your specific beard type and price range.
The Beard Struggle takes the confusion out of what to get Anyway, the Beard Struggle takes the reading the ad struggle. The Beard Struggle takes the confusion out of what to get for your beard or that special beard wearer in your life.
And the best part is, since it's a bundle, you save money.
And with our exclusive discount code, TORTURE19, that's TORTURE 19, you'll save even more, 19% at checkout. And with their 90-day money-back guarantee, you have absolutely nothing to worry about.
And since they never test on animals, you can feel good supporting an ethical company that also produces a quality product.
TheBeardStruggle.com. Do what's right for your beard. Do what's right for your face. Sort your fucking beard out.
Now, the most notorious inmate of OE256/5 is undoubtedly Nur Pashi Kuliev. Now, Kuliev was the only survivor of a militant cell of Chechnyan insurgents that on the 1st of September 2004 attacked a school in Belsen in North Ossetia. That day, Kuliev and 31 other terrorists stormed the school, taking more than 1,000 hostages. And by the time it was all done, 33 hostages, most of whom were school children, were dead. Oh, just going to jump in here for a second. I made a little mistake there. I just said that 33 hostages died. It was actually 333 hostages died. Normally I wouldn't jump in to fix a little slip of the tongue, but when it comes to children dying at the hands of terrorists, I feel like maybe we should get our information correct, and that was my fault. I apologize. Now back to the show. Kuliev was found guilty of terrorism in 2006 and was sentenced to life in prison in Pyatak. A rumor grew that he had died a year later, but in a documentary in 2014 on Russia Today, he can be seen pacing back and forth inside one of the 2 meter by 2 meter cages. You can actually look it up, and he looks up at the camera. He's like, yeah.
Stupid Russian.
Stupid Chechnyan. Stupid Chechnyan.
Same difference.
Same thing. So what are the real consequences of this kind of severe isolation? Well, a paper published by Dr. Stuart Gracian of Washington University in 2006 says that it can bring about a very specific psychiatric syndrome. Symptoms like the inability to tolerate external stimuli, like regular noises, just any noise.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you get used to the boredom and the silence. And I you get used to the boredom. It's
the absolute silence. Yeah.
Kind of like with the white room thing, like anything outside of that.
Exactly. Now you believe, you sat in a white room, now you believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Illusions, hallucinations, hearing voices, panic attacks, difficulty in thinking, concentrating, retaining memories, the loss of memories without the opportunity to create new, meaningful ones can cause the personality to begin to fade away. Obsessive thoughts of violent fantasies of torture and mutilation, a feeling of paranoia and persecutory fears leading to overt psychosis, loss of impulse control, the need to do a true crime podcast. All comes from these, from being lonely all the time. I need to make a podcast.
I'm not lonely. I have cats. Oh, and
hey,
he's leaving me. He's fucking leaving me right now. He's been sitting there for ages.
Don't go. Loss of impulse control resulting in acts of random violence, self-harm, and suicide attempts. Now, this specific syndrome is identified by the doctor. This specific syndrome identified by the doctor is, quote, strikingly unique, and some of the symptoms are found in virtually no other psychiatric illness. To boil it down, this kind of constant and long-lasting isolation doesn't just make you crazy, it actually changes your brain. The only condition it can be compared to is delirium, an acute organic brain syndrome characterized by abnormalities in EEGs and brain scans, meaning that after 10 years of severe isolation, what you have is closer to a full-on neurological disorder versus a psychiatric one. Not so much a problem with how your brain works, but a problem with your brain itself. It's not like, oh, well, your brain's just kind of broken, we'll give you medicine to fix it. No, your brain can't. It's broken.
Yeah.
It physically and chemically changes because of
the lack of
this kind of isolation. Yeah. Which is said that take them out of if it's not too long lasting, take them out of isolation, put them with people, regular stimulus. It can go away to an extent. So it is something that can be reversed to a point.
Well, can you imagine you're locked up there serving a sentence for like calling Putin an asshole or something like that, right? And you come out of there with that brain issue, and I'll take you, let's say it's 2018, and you come strolling out of there with all this stuff obviously going on or not going on in your head, to learn that Donald Trump has been voted in as president of the United States. Surely, yeah, you would assume that was down to what's going on in your brain.
Like, man, I'm fucked. My head's still fucked. Somebody told me Donald Trump was... I got these voices telling me Donald Trump president. No, it's real. I'm fucked.
Put me back in. But don't worry, we all had to experience it.
It's okay. That can never happen, because once you went into Pyatak prison, you never fucking came out.
Fair enough.
These are for lifers. Period. Once you're in, it's fucking Hotel California.
Bastards. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm sure the Russian legal system is fairly, so I can only imagine some of the reasons people would be locked up there. Like,
I'm
for very
sure
good reasons, but
I'm sure it's fair. I'm sure, like, if you're a WNBA player and you're caught with a little bit of weed, I'm sure it's just a slap on the wrist and send you home. Not a 8-month debacle to deal with. Yeah.
It's a very fair, true process.
Oh, yeah.
Due diligence done at every turn and every step.
Putin isn't a megalomatic, narcissistic psychopath at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. No. So now you may think, why not at least attempt an escape? Well, let's take a look at what awaits you. To begin with, the prison occupies almost the entire island. The island's edges are enclosed by 2 concentric walls with watchtowers at each corner. The perimeter is patrolled by armed guards and police dogs. Their exits only 2 access routes to Fire Island. There exists, I don't know why I say exits. There exists only 2 access routes to Fire Island, either by foot over a narrow wooden bridge or by boat. Therefore, even if you could manage to climb both sets of walls, elude the guards and their German shepherds, they would still have to swim to shore in half-frozen water. Alternatively, they could run along the length of the wooden bridge while the guards take aim at them from their watchtowers, shooting to kill.
Yeah, I don't think they get very far.
Serpentine! You just see a guy running zigzag down the fucking... You're never gonna get me! Now, if they succeed in reaching the shore, they must still endure a long and arduous journey in harsh weather conditions through a dense forest. And even if they manage to escape the woods, it would be difficult to go unnoticed among the small towns and villages in the vicinity. So yeah, in case you were wondering, nobody has ever escaped from Pyatak. In fact, the only way to truly get out of /5 is to go from a dark cell to a box in the ground. When an inmate dies and his body is unclaimed by relatives, it is taken to a small village graveyard near the island. And these bodies are buried with the smallest of ceremonies. Only 2 guards will attend. Other prisoners are not allowed. So if you're in this prison with the same cellmate for like 15 years and you die, or they die, you're not even allowed to go to their fucking funeral. It's just that person's gone now, and here we'll give you a new one.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. And instead of their name on the tombstones, they just get their prison serial number placed on a small marker. So they don't even get a real tombstone. You just get one of those little box markers that has your serial number on it.
Looking at it on Google Maps, it's pretty fucking horrible.
It's pretty bleak.
Yeah. The whole area around it and everything. It's just
it's not a fun area to be in.
No.
It's just the thing that really sticks out to me is all these other prisons, even the really harsh ones where you get beaten down every day, you're out, you make some friendships, you make some enemies, but you have something to kind of do every day. Even if it's doing illegal activities in prison where you're running drugs for a gang or something, is you still have something to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, what am I going to do today? This place is, you wake up in the morning,
make your little chess pieces.
You wake up in the morning, you put the bed away, and then you stand there for the rest of the fucking day. Or sit on a teeny tiny perch until your ass falls asleep.
Yeah, to Shawshank Boredemption.
Yeah.
Shawshankski.
Shawshankski. To put it best, Chief Guard Vasily Smirnov said, quote, "It's necessary to understand one thing. The difference between this prison and others is that in other places, prisoners see the light at the end of the tunnel. Here, it's all darkness." I wish I had more for you guys, but that's kind of it. I mean, it's a bleak, meaningless existence that you get.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible looking place. Like, it's really bad. I'm gonna Google it again. Hold on, Fire Island Prison. I might just see if I can put on the background here for our Be Quiet Cat for our what do you call it? Oh, that's an even better picture. Wow, fuck that shit. Like that's it that's the lake. That's all. That looks like it's just on a snowy field. That's a lake.
It's forest all around there.
Yeah, like that. That's pretty big.
You just pop up like, that's pretty fucking bad.
Again, it gives you great Dungeons and Dragons ideas.
Yeah, it does. This is actually not an uncommon thing in Russia. There's another prison in Russia called the Black Dolphin. It's called that because the inmates made a big black dolphin out of like shit from around the prison and it sits out front, so they call it Black Dolphin. But that place is just as bad, if not worse, than this. And I hope that we will cover it at some point down the road. We don't have a ton of prisons to cover, but that will be one that gets kind of wedged in there, and it'll be for the same reason, really, just the mind-crushing boredom and isolation and just hopelessness. Just there's no point in life, really. So you probably weren't able to find any. Were you able to find any pop culture?
No, it's just some documentary thing. I think it might have been the thing you were talking about, 3 Days and Never Again. It's called 3 Days and Never Again, Last Visit. It's a video directed by some guy called... Fuck you, sorry, he just left him to the back of my neck. Oh my god, he frightened the hell out of me. Got me with one of his claws on my side of my neck here as well. Little shithead. But by some guy called Alexander Gutman.
That's probably the one from Russia Today.
Yeah. But no, like I think those are like there's plenty of obviously movies about desolate prison things. You know, do you ever see the one? I know it's a classic thing for Russia to do, which is send people to Siberia.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, like
just drop them off in the middle of the wilderness in the middle of Siberia.
And on that, actually, because of I'm such a big Keanu Reeves fan, do not watch Keanu Reeves' movie Siberia. It is a piece of shit. It is complete and utter fucking shit. But really? It's nothing to do with Siberian prisons or anything of that stuff. It's just a crap film. Just that one with what do you call him? Tom Hardy is really good. Where he's like a military police, investigating murders, and he's basically sent off to the arsehole of nowhere because he did something wrong, and it's like a punishment. But ends up getting caught up in a murder investigation. I think it's really good. I must find it. Let you know what it is, but I know that's nothing to do with a desolate Russian prison. It's just to do with how desolate Russia is.
When I was telling my wife about these prisons that I was looking up in Russia, she said the same thing that I kind of thought of was where David Harbour was in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
In that and where he was in Black Widow. I don't know if you've seen Black Widow or not, but that's where his character was there, and almost kind of like where Deadpool went in Deadpool 2. Just kind of out in the middle of frozen nothingness. But there was a lot there. In those, they were allowed to talk to one another and hang out and walk around and stuff. So, but that's the first thing I thought of was Stranger Things.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Well, thank you to our patrons, Inquisitor Dragomandi, Willow Quinn Fowler, and MX Sinister 26. Thank all of you so much. If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, go to patreon.com/torturepod, where we have 4 different levels to choose from, including a 7-day free trial of our cult leader tier. Send your emails to torturepod@gmail.com, or you can message us on Instagram and all the other social medias @torturepod. Do the whole rate and review, follow, subscribe, all that good shit. Go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/torturepod. Donate to the show on our link trees, which is on our socials, or go to buymeacoffee.com/torturepod. You can buy coffee. We probably won't use it for coffee, but we'll appreciate it anyway. That's coffee. Okay. I like coffee too, but it's expensive. Buying coffee places is expensive. You can go get some of our merch. Redbubble.com/people/torturepod. Both of us are decked out in it right now. I got my Welcome to La Tumba 3/4 sleeve shirt on. Dan's got his torture hoodie with the logo up on the breast. I got the brand new torture hoodie that's got the full logo on the front, nice and big and beautiful. I love it.
Nice.
I want to make a Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
A torture Christmas sweater. I've seen a few places where you can do that, so I might make a torture Christmas sweater.
It's not like the ugly sweaters, but a torture.
Yes.
That would be fucking awesome.
It's fucking great. Or even just the torture sweater t-shirt that has the ugly sweater design just like in the middle, but some type of design in front of it. I'd like to do one of those.
Yeah,
I think it'd
that'd
be
be
fun.
cool. Design your own ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, cool.
Oh, well.
Sweet.
Hit for our next episode. This subject is absolute torture. Unless you have a good safe word. Dan, any
50 Shades of
words of
Grey.
any words of wisdom?
Look, if you're stupid enough to do something stupid in Russia, right? Keep it on topic here, right? Don't do stupid things in Russia, right? Like
Don't do
or
stupid.
Thailand.
That's a good
right?
word of wisdom right
Yeah,
there.
like
Don't do
that's
stupid things in Russia.
like, but if you do, one of your little gifts you can get every month, every year, whatever it is, so the 2 packages per year, make sure you get antibacterial wipes, people,
Yes.
because you're sharing that bucket. You're going to want those antibacterial wipes. I can tell you now. Unless you want to have AIDS and shit.
Tuberculosis.
And tuberculosis, yeah.
Well, the best part is you don't have to worry about flushing them down the toilet and clogging everything up because there isn't one. You just put it in the bucket.
Oh, there you go.
Throw them right in the bucket.
Yeah.
See? It's not as bad as you think it is. It's worse.
I can only imagine. Yeah, imagine having to go and empty that bucket and it was frozen and just turn it upside down. It's just like, do you ever get like, when, say if you get up and it's been a snowy night and you have like a bucket of water outside, you get out of that thing and you have a bucket of water outside. And say if you pick that up, it's only the surface of it that's frozen and underneath is obviously is all liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
I see where you're going.
like a brown slushy.
And then the ice doesn't like completely come out; it just starts dripping a little bit, and then the ice just kind of tilts. God, it didn't say anywhere of who or how the buckets get emptied. I imagine they make you do it.
Oh, I say, yeah.
On your way to your exercise for the day.
Like a bucket hole or something that, yeah. But yeah, don't fuck around in Russia, people.
No. No, we're gonna talk about some bad prisons here in America too, and other places in the world. But don't break the law in any way in Russia, because even the smallest thing, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing. It's not a good place. I'm sure there's beautiful places in Russia, and I'm sure a lot of the people there are just fine. I'm
actually very, I find it very
talking about the
perplexing
government.
place in the sense that there's some certain areas, part of me would absolutely love to see Russia, to go there, to see certain things, certain places. I think part of the desolation of desolate fucking mad wasteland areas that are there, I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But don't fuck around there. Like it's.
I was actually looking up the weather there at /5, and so I typed in Ogni Ostrov into Google, and it brought up the location and the phone number.
Oh,
I was like, babe, we can. They're open 24 hours a day. It says open 24 hours a day. We can call them.
We should do it live on air.
Now, even though I live in the Midwest in America, I was still terrified that somehow they would come get me and throw me in that fucking prison. I was like, no, don't do it. Next thing I know, Putin's at our front door. Come on.
You should order a pizza on Russian Domino's and get it delivered to them.
Or order 30 of them and deliver it to them. Just with a little note in there that says, gotcha.
Order KFC and get them a load of new buckets. What you do. There's our new t-shirt.
It's the perfect present.
KFC
you
chicken
eat the
bucket.
You eat the chicken out of the bucket, you shoot the chicken into the bucket. It's perfect. Jesus Christ. All right, fuck. That's all we got. On that note, on the KFC shit chicken bucket, I think that's where we need to end it. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another, and we'll see you
See you later.
Wolf and squirrel.